Cool. So we're recording this thing. So if any of you don't want to be recorded, because I need to share this roundtable, because there are messages really for everybody, for everybody out in the marketplace. So if anybody doesn't like it, your excuse, you can probably get off if you don't want to be recorded, because this is the one thing obviously that we need to do. So first of all, thank you so much for coming. I really we're starting off with 6 people today, or 5 people. We started off with 2 people the other day, and then we are about 20 at the end. So I really see that we're making so much of a difference, and at least I see that people gravitate towards these calls, which is necessarily, again, what is going to make a difference between succeeding and not. Because if you take away anything from this program, whether or not you want to continue at the end, it's really going to be about changing your lifestyle and changing your mindset, which is basically something you don't do in one day. You obviously understand that there is a huge amount of work in there. And of course, I do get, so I really suggest any of you take notes. I did the note of the roundtable calls today. It's a very difficult thing for me to explain. This is probably the hardest roundtable calls for me to get you to understand, because, so I'm excusing in the beginning, I apologize if the message won't go through so easy like the other time. So what is focus, and what necessarily I mean by you focusing internally or focusing externally on things? We're going to obviously dive deep into this, and we're going to make sure that you understand what I mean. Gabriela, thank you for coming. Please, if you have a chance, let me just mute you. I need to mute everybody, so obviously we don't hear noise in the back. So I'm going to start off by telling everybody what I mean by focus. So we have everybody asking questions, obviously, in the program, not only in this program, in any program, and at every time specifically. When you want to get to our results in fitness, you're going to ask a lot of questions, right? I mean, you ask yourself question, am I doing the right thing? If you have a coach, you ask the coach question, right? Asking the right questions, and I don't mean, I really think that there is no stupid question in life. Some people telling me, sorry for the question because it was stupid. I really don't believe there is stupid question. I do believe there is tons, and not only in, obviously, in anybody of this group, which I am really proud to say. And again, thank you for everybody to be so good in this group, because we have about 85-90% results rate. So there is a 10% not doing the work. Obviously, me, like anybody else, I cannot help, because obviously it means that they're not ready to change. But there is tons of question, right? And as there is no stupid question, there is a lot of lazy question, right? There is people asking question from a place of not uncertainty, but from a place of not doing work first. Meaning, like, there is asking a question and say, okay, well, wait, the website doesn't seem to work. Oh, can I do this work on that workout? Oh, I just told you to stay around 1,500 calories. Oh, can I still eat a burger or not? I mean, like, there is no critical thinking in question. And again, there is no stupid question. And this is by no means you having to feel like you cannot ask questions. We are here, and we're building even a bigger team for you to be able to ask as many questions as you want. But as we get to the point of obviously answering questions, it's always fun to see how many people, and it's at least 50%, do the work and actually ask a question from a place of doing, or ask a question from a place of just consuming content, right? Like, and if you ask a question for consuming content, I'm going to have you consider that your focus maybe not on the right things. Because obviously, if you just ask a question based on obviously doing, consuming or not consuming content, it means that still, like you haven't really thought about the question you're going to ask. So let me just find somebody, please, all of you, please mute yourself when you come in this thing, because otherwise we always have, yeah, there you go. Cool, so how can I'm going to dive in right now and describe you what is focus and what is exactly what I mean by focus. Just somebody, I don't know if it's Christina here, please mute yourself when you come in here, because otherwise we're going to have a bunch of noise here. All right, good, excellent. 1 second, I need to find somebody. I think it's Christina. Christina, there you go. You need to mute yourself. There you go. Sorry, guys. Okay, so as we get to point A, and I'm going to have you consider the point A for some of you. I don't know, we're going to go into the fat percentages right now, but point A is your not happy point. And again, one last time, please, Christina, I'm going to have to either to mute you or to stop your chat, because like you need to go on the left and I don't know why I cannot mute you. Let me just. All right. Yeah, everybody else is muted. There you go. Okay, cool. So as you get to point A, and here you see point B, whatever they want to go, and point A is here, there is like a straight line in between. It's going to be, for you, it's a straight line. You see it as a straight line. It's always going to be a rounded line. It's going to be whatever in between. But as you get to point A, and for you, maybe in 6, 12 weeks, 3, 4, 5 months, whatever, like you get to point B, in between, there is always point A1, right? And then when we speak, me and you, usually between 6 weeks, 8 or 10, whatever weeks might be, you always on point A1, A2, A3. You never in point completely B until like, obviously when you're really happy. And the ability to be able to focus and actually understand, am I ready to, go on my own? Am I ready to, to proceed on my own? Is always should be asked by asking the question, do you still have stories in your mind? What are the limiting beliefs that you have? Because if you have, chances are, obviously, we're not ready, right? I mean, like you're not completely ready. And obviously, what is going to make you completely ready one day is going to be the ability of you to ask the right questions. And also, it's going to be the ability to focus on solutions or to focus on problems, right? And I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean from the fat percentage, because you're going to see that as many problems we have in 40% for most people, we have in 15%, right? Because some people actually want to get to 15%, but when they get there, somehow there is the same amount of problem. And it's always like that in life. That we have happy people, we have not less happy people. And so funny, because years ago, before I actually started on my job, I would say, if one day, I could be to, for example, just working online, and then I think there would be no problem. Everything would be automated. There would be it would be so much easier, right? And now I'm here, and I'm actually almost like a year we went online, obviously with 20 years almost experience behind, and we see this all the time. Obviously, we see the same amount of problems that we had before. We see the same amount of work that we had before. So the ability to focus on problems and focus on solution in life, it will produce the actual ability for you to be able to be successful for long term and not, right? Can you be successful for a little bit all the time? Yes, we see that all the time. And of course, I see here, Christina, let me do something, because I don't know what's the deal with your chat, but it is always it's more. So I'm gonna have you get out. So I'm gonna remove and then come back one more time, because it sounds like you came in on the wrong way. Okay. There you go. Yes. Sorry for interrupting like that. So again, the ability of you to focus on the right thing and see problems as challenges that you can actually overcome or not, this is going to be the ability for you to get results. So this, I'm going to have you obviously consider that if that's the case, if you haven't done or geared the ability to do that right now, you still need some work to do, even if you work on the fat percentage you want, even if you achieve the results you want, because if anything else, this program should be the last one you do, right? Either you would like, obviously, to keep working with us, or you would at least have enough data and enough knowledge to be able to consider continuing on your own. Not knowledge as far as information. That one, of course, we do very well, that part, but the knowledge of you being able to problem solve, right? Which I have to consider that this is 90% of the people here still don't have, even though you are where you want to be or don't where you want to be, because I see that all the time. I get to the 6 weeks, many people continue, some other people say, oh, this program is great, Jerry, but I don't know if I can do the next 6 weeks because I'm gonna have to travel. I go, oh my God, I'm gonna be very, very busy. It's like, you're missing the point. Like, you're just missing the point. I mean, like, if you cannot ingrain this 3 hours a week that we did all together, like, this is gonna be like anything else you did in the past, because you're not gonna be able to, when your body starts to fight back on you, you're not gonna be able to continue. Like, you're not gonna find the solution that you're looking for. And then, like, you're gonna have to come back here or come back to somebody else and, like, looking for another solution, right? But why? Because instead of asking the question from a place of doing, you're asking a question from a place of wanting to be saved, right? And this is actually ties up with the next roundtable call we're going to have already. Obviously, already thought about that. Like that's going to be really, really interesting. People that want to be saved or people that want to save themselves is very different. And this is really about hard work, right? But getting into that, and this I have my little thing here. I'm gonna read to you right now what I actually did. I did like 4 levels. This is what I did by looking at people's results, by looking at people work throughout the obviously not only this online period but also through the years. And we get like 4 levels. 4 levels. Let's say that we start from level 40% to 15%, right? Body fat, right? And 4 levels, I'm gonna divide it in 4 levels just to make you understand what I mean. Some of you, your starting point will be at 30%, some of you will be 25%. Essentially, in your mind, what's going on when you are 40% or when you're 35% or when you're 25% is the same thing when you're starting. So basically, level 1 means like you're starting something, right? So you're starting, and we have this idea, that the routines are not there, right? You want to build a habit. You cannot do it on your own. You try already so many things that didn't work or did work. You have obviously try to do some work by yourself, but it seems not to work. And of course, as you start off, we give you the information, we give you the support, and obviously you get to easily to 35 or 30%. 30% for me is stage 2. And again, this can be for some people 25%. As you get to 30%, from 40%, if that's the case, or from 25 to 20, whatever the case might be, you start seeing value in yourself. You start to value yourself, you start valuing the program, you say like, wow, this is working, right? And I mean, like, it's so much fun for me to see all the post before and after picture I post, and people ask me, how do you do that? It's like, we just go by physiology. I mean, I didn't reinvent the wheel. It's so easy. It's just go hypocaloric for a few weeks and you're gonna get down. Easy, right? I mean, like, you just have to convince yourself that something is working. So you convince yourself that it's working, you feel good, you start obviously building routines. You feel like you're building a habit, but you're really building a behavior. You're just doing something for a little bit, you see some results, and you feel good. And that's all good, and that's amazing. You get to level 3, 25 to 20%. For some people, it's 25. For some people, it's 20%. Now, if you start at 40, you now had lost anywhere from 5, for some people, like 3 to 5 kilo, right? Even in 6 to 8 or maybe 10 weeks. You get to 20% or 25, and definitely a fact is that you're healthy. Right now, you're healthy. Between 15 to 25, you're healthy. For now, if you maintain it alone, that would be really cool, because now you're healthy. What's going on is that obviously we're looking for something more. We want to be happy with ourselves. We want to be confident. So we want to always get better, right? And now there is this idea that you start thinking, wow, maybe I can really do it, but the body starts fighting back. The body starts stalling, especially if you went with something a little drastic. If you cut hypocaloric too much, if you completely take off macros, like, I don't know, from some people, vegetarian or low carb, or maybe like taking off all the fat. Like, if you take something out like that, you see the body start fighting back, right? And as the body starts fighting back, you start to experience the first difficulties, right? And then is where you get like people actually quitting or people continuing, right? And around between when you lost 5 kilos, that's why we get it all the time. We get the people continuing, we get the people stopping. But ultimately, if you can pull through, then you get to a place that you feel really not only healthy, but you feel great. You feel like you were how you were maybe 10 years ago, how you were before. You found, wow, I really found something that works right now. How can I keep it up, right? And as you get to 20%, and for some people it's 15%, then like you get there and you feel like, yes, I'm on my way to building a habit. You now understood that you need to work hard. You now understood that if you work hard, your work is paying off. And then you get to 15%. 15% for some people, 15 to 12%, it's where now you feel like, wow, I get the body that I want. How can I pull it up, right? How can I keep it? I mean, when should I stop dieting now? Because if you got there, one fact is for sure that you had to create a really good deficit of calories. So it means that now you're eating anywhere from 12 to 15,100 calories a day. You're probably doing an output of the same amount. So the fact is the fact. You are there, but you need to work hard. And as you get there, and now I don't know I don't know, maybe Patricia's not here because Coach Patricia, I don't know what happened. Maybe she thought it was at 8 or she's joining later, but she knows something about being now 15% and struggling. Because why? Because no matter what, if you're starting off from 20 to 15 or from 40 to 15, getting from 40 to 25, 20% in women, it's not easy, but it's simple. All you have to do is follow the rules. Getting from 15 to 10 is going to be the hardest thing that you've ever done because women are meant to bear a child. So it's very, very difficult. The body's going to fight back. So the ability of you getting to 15% and problem solving, or for you to 20% and problem solving, and actually find a solution for things, or asking your coach to find a solution, or hi everybody jumping on, thank you for coming. The ability of you actually focusing on solution and focusing on problems, this is going to be the ability of you to getting success or not, right? We got it here. I just put it down here. As you get to 40%, you're in a bad place in yourself, right? And you wish like, what if I just could get to 15%? When you get to 15%, you got the same problem. And reality is, and this is a fact, as much as you put from going to whatever your point A to point B is, you're going to need as much as this time, if not double, to maintain it, to be able to reverse diet, to be able to actually, your body understanding what it is to put calorie back, right? And really be able to maintain that fat percentage and eat more, right? What is the take-home message from this? And this is actually external focus. External focus is like, what is the take-home message? Problems are always gonna be there. It's on you, the ability to actually make sure if you can overcome the problem or not, right? And that brings me to the internal focus. Internal focus is everything on this fat percentage that goes on in your mind. All the limiting belief, all what you say to yourself, am I improving? Am I not improving? Oh, this week was terrible because I got sick. The other week because I traveling. Oh, because I'm a mom, I'm very busy. I cannot do it this week. Oh, and this like. Oh, I had a post from you, kind of like bantering with everybody. What is the story that you have on your mind, right? And some of you understood what it was. Some of you actually said the whole story, and it's funny because I didn't comment back to anybody because I said story needs to be there, right? But it's the ability of you to take these stories and ask yourself, is this story going to be useful for my life or not? Am I going to take this story? Am I going to do something with this story, good or something bad? Am I let this story going to be my limiting factor on going from 20 to 15%? Am I going to do that or not? If you are able to say, no, this story is not going to mess me up, you just find yourself the solution. Doesn't mean that you don't need a coach, but you just found that you need to problem solve all the time. That people don't have the solution for you, you have the solution. You just need to get the direction for it. So as we get this clarity, I'm going to tell you what is usually for people to be able to be successful or not. When you get to whatever place you want to go or whatever like you feel like you're okay with, there is really two distinct things that is going to make people fell off track or like obviously not being successful. It's usually the physiology part. And I always say this on the week 6 and the psychology part. There is two same thing going on the same track. Physiology is the one thing why you need a coach, because we know exactly, based on the experience we have, why your body is fighting back like it is, right? And for some people, it's better to have an answer of why am I retaining water? Why am I not seeing my 15%? Why it takes so long? Like it's much better to have an answer that is possibly a well-educated guess than not have an answer, because not having an answer is going to take you psychology part and it's going to mess it up and it's going to say, yes, this program doesn't work. No, I'm not able to do it, right? So psychology, I can motivate you, I cannot help with. You actually have to change yourself. That's why we're all here tonight. Physiology is the one thing why, when and if you can afford it, a personal trainer one-to-one is not going to be necessarily what's going to bring you necessarily the results. But when somebody like somebody that can program design, that can actually motivate you, that can actually have an answer for you, it's much a wiser choice. Because, in all fairness, if you think that you're putting a lot of effort getting from 40 to 25 or 15%, and then like you feel like, yeah, I'm smart enough, I can do it on my own, and then you fail, then it sucks because you basically throw away a lot of time of your life that you did very well, right? And why? And maybe now you start to understand why, why what I'm saying, like, why stupid question. There is no stupid question. There is only like question from doing and question from actually consuming. Makes sense because obviously you need to have the ability to maintain the 25%. And I'm not talking about the ability to actually do a routine. You need to have the muscle, the brain to get there and to stay there. Because if you can't stay there, this is why diet never work. This is why information doesn't work alone. Maybe you start to understand now information why it doesn't work alone, right? Because I always hear it all the time. Even like sometime I live in US and I say, I want to make $1 million, right? I always ask 3 questions for this person. Or they say, I made $1 million. How did you manage to get there, right? How much did you have to work for it? And how do you enjoy your life now that you're there, right? Because if you were not given the $1 million, you must have the ability to actually hold it, right? You must have the ability to do the right thing with it. You see it for some boxing fans, maybe you see Mike Tyson, what happened in the past, multi-million-dollar person, just lost everything in a couple of days, just by bad managing, by just wasting stuff, right? And this is the same thing in fitness. If I gave you, and this is not out of cockiness, it's basically out of truth. If I gave 15%, and that's why I ask this question when we're on the phone all the time, what would you do if you work 15% tomorrow body fat? I mean, what would you do? How would your life change? If I gave you 15%, half of you would lose it in 2 months. The other half probably would lose it in 6 months. And again, it's not out of cockiness or out of saying like, no, you cannot do it. It's because you haven't done the sacrifice to get from 20% to 15% over time. You haven't understood what it is to stay there. You haven't gone through the pain of, having the body fighting back all the time, and you didn't problem solve yet, right? So this is exactly, obviously, what it is. This answer now the question of why diet doesn't work, right? Maybe you get it finally. It's like the marketplace is throwing something at you that makes you go from your 40% to 30% or 25 to 30%. The information they give you, it makes you go there, but the mindset behind and your ability to not problem solve is with the one thing that you're still 40%. You start in maybe 25, in your mind, the routines, the mindset is still 40%. So it's basically this ability to move forward, not only on the information, not only on the fact that just taking off 7,000 calories a week less is going to make you lose a kilogram of fat, but also how am I going to maintain it? What are my routine? What am I going to have to give away in order for me to maintain this, right? So this is basically what I mean by focus, right? Focus internally and focus externally. So as obviously we finish out, we're getting closer to the end and you can actually talk, the one of you that actually want to talk. The question that I have is like, are you yet focusing on the right things? I mean, are you focusing on the right things, and how do you know? Because like, it's so easy to say, yes, I'm actually making a change, I'm focusing. How do you know that do you still have limiting belief? Are these limiting belief real? Is there something that actually exists? Because as you say, take a diet, right? We know that from going from 20 to 15%, we need to establish maybe 3 kilograms. We need to establish 7,000 times 2, 1,400 calorie deficit, right? But then, like, as your body fights back, you start, I just saw this, oh my God, like this zone diet is okay. Oh, let's try intermittent fasting diet, right? We go from facts to internal focus, what your mind telling you, right? And like, the question is that good for you? Is that something that you want to live with, right? So who wants to talk? I hope this reflects. This was a very difficult call for me to be able to explain to you because it's a little bit more technical than usual. And some people really focus on the information alone, unfortunately. I'm really proud of all of you because all of you are here. And so just coming here is the one thing that tells me that you want to change. And that's amazing. So is there anybody by raise of hand that can tell me their current situation? What is it that you feel still thinking that, basically are not bringing you to the next level? What is it? Don't feel scared. Don't feel embarrassed about it. And by the way, I see here Mada. And Mada, I wanted to like the post that you just did, it's important, I said before, celebrate, focus on the positive, on the right things. And if you feel like buying jeans is like the one reward that you need, or getting this extra dessert is the one thing that you need, do it, because celebrating the wins and focusing on the positive and not the problems are going to make a difference. So we should have about 10 minutes or maybe a little bit more. Who wants to talk? Who wants to tell me about their current focus and how do they feel and what do they feel like the problem is, if there any problem? I cannot be so much of a good presenter. Come on, somebody must have a question or something. Come on, who's gonna talk first? There you are. I knew it. Chiara.
Hi everyone.
Good.
Hi.
Here.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you're just started, and that's great. So why don't you tell me if you have for you must be roughly new, and obviously, do you have anything to say, like, yeah, I'm on the right focus? Does it reflect your life right now? This what I just said in this call.
I think the things you said right now made a lot of sense to me. I've been through this process before, and I've fallen off the wagon at least 3 times before. So everything you said makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. What I think, the thing that kept on coming back to my mind while I was listening to you was it's all a matter of willpower. And we all have different buttons that click us on or click us off.
Я слушаю. Не надо мне прерывать, я слушаю.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No worries. So for me, I think that I've seen my mind be really strong. I've seen my mind convinced and make me do the work and make me go on and hold on when it gets tough. And then maybe 6 months in, I've seen my mind just go bleh. Done.
And you were, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were doing Ironmans, right? You were running Ironmans, or like?
I wasn't going all the way to Ironmans, but it was triathlon.
Yeah, triathlon. Yeah, my sorry.
Triathlon.
Yeah.
So I think for me, there is, in my case, there is something about motivation. And I think it also has something to do with the fact that I get to a point in which I see myself, I like myself, I feel strong, I feel healthy, and then I get lazy. Okay. And I, in the experiences that I've had until now, I probably have never been able to take that one extra step. When you think you've reached your best shape ever, that's really the moment in which you have to push instead of stopping.
Exactly, yeah.
What I've done until now is like, yay, celebrate, enough, chocolate cake. And then that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where my willpower breaks. I think I have a strong mind. I can take me to point B, and then at point B, I don't really know what to do with myself. I'm so happy, and I forget it all. So that's probably my limit.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing. Obviously, if you see it that way, you probably want to put point B, right? 4, meaning like you want point A to be point A, and you want your 15%, 20% being point A1 or A2, A3, when A1 being 17%, 15% A2, and then like as you understand that this is going to take you to performance. And basically from 15%, you want to keep 15% and then go into performance. You want to be able to not only have, the physiology part down, like that reverse dieting part, yeah. and that like in there, but really your mind say, my point B is not 15%. My point B is actually be able to hold 15% for 6 months to a year. And again, when we're talking about performance, it's a little bit different because obviously there is timing. You see it all the time. When you do a marathon, you're going to have to fuel yourself in the right way. As you finish the marathon, there can be a time that you're off season, and it's a little bit more chilled. You can enjoy more time. Like now you're talking about an athlete mentality, right? Versus you still like a normal person, you still like to see yourself looking at certain ways, but you're going from an athletic perspective, which is a little bit different than just somebody that want to be okay the way they look. Because
no, yeah. I'm talking about before. Of course, in the past, I've acted this way while I was preparing for sports, mm-hmm. but I can see myself acting mentally, psychologically. I do the same mistake, even if I just want to get a bikini body and look nice in August when I go to the beach. It's not about sports. It's how my head works. And sometimes I feel like I've worked so hard for so long that I just want to break. But the mistake that I make is that it's fine, I think, if you take a break for 1 or 2 weeks and you allow yourself not to train, to eat and drink whatever you want, but you give yourself that limit. It's 1 or 2 weeks, and after that you go really hard back on your goals. What I do is that then I just
we do that all the time. It's like every 6 weeks we force almost people to get like a transition week. It should really be 1 or 2 weeks, or even for people, some people 3, but you know, transition week can be at least one week to just get your body a metabolic break, right? And also your mind. And of course, as you see, this is something I want to make for people clear. When you're starting from a place of above 20, 35% or 40%, to maintain whatever is desired from you is going to take the time you get from where you are now to where you're going to go, and you're going to multiply this thing for 2. If you are 25 and below, it's going to be a 1-to-1 ratio. If you take 4 weeks to get to 15%, 4 weeks is going to be for your body, for your fat cells, and for your brains to be connected and understand, as I get more calorie and I still do some output, I can actually slowly get some fat up, but not so much, right? So this is the maintenance part. Mentally, it can be breaking for sure. Cool, so thank you for sharing. So we got about 6 more minutes. If somebody wants to talk, still, like anybody? Raise your hands, nobody? Come on, don't be shy. Lorna, she doesn't want to talk because now, and Lorna, I know she's getting there closely, so she's not going to talk. Anybody new? Like, come on, it doesn't really have to be on this thing. Like, we still have 5 minutes. I just don't want to throw away the 5 minutes. If you want to ask a question in regards to anything, you can raise your hand now, even in regard to your milestones. And again, it doesn't have to be embarrassing or anything. Nobody. We're just simply gonna cut it off otherwise. Cool. So if nobody wants to talk, again, you don't, you can or not can or can't talk. But thank you so much for coming. Again, this will be recorded because obviously it's a message for everybody. It's something that people need to understand the way we work. But specifically, specifically is for you. For obviously, I make this thing almost mandatory, right? So hopefully the next one, more of you can come. I try to make it a little early because some people, they say, no, I cannot because, I'm, after I have the dinner or after I have, I'm a mom, I can't. Funny enough that I see it all the time. People that actually, and this again, don't get offended if it was you when you hear that. I see it all the time. People try to find something to say, yes, do it another time so I can come. And then don't, like the people coming here, it's almost the same people all the time, right? So you see that all the time. It's like, you want to get better, don't find an excuse. Myself, I have roundtables myself, which I sometimes don't go. I see the replay, I really interact on the replay. You want to take the best you can. You put 100 in, you get 100 back. If you put 10 in, you're going to get 10 back in life all the time. And if you want this to be another program like everything else, that's exactly what it's going to be, right? But if you understand the difference and if you really cherish the thing that we give you and basically understand not only the mindset part, but it's all information coming to you and say, yes, this kind of approach, proactive approach with a coach that I can actually have access to is the way to go, is the one thing that is going to make you successful. Not short-term, long-term. Short-term, anything works. You just go and Google something, you're going to find it. If you stick to it for 2-3 weeks, you're going to see a result. Long-term, unfortunately not. You build habits, you build behaviors. Actually, you build behavior first from an action, you build habits, and you build a lifestyle. If you love it, it's going to be a lifestyle. If you just temporarily love it, it's going to probably be a habit, which I wish you can actually keep up. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. I'm going to let you all go to your dinners and to your families, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to be in touch with everybody of you that needs to see me or talk to me on separate weeks, week 3, week 6, week 9, whatever the case might be. If you have any question, always ask. Come from a place of doing, not from a place of just consuming, but ask question, because obviously this, if anything else, has to be something that you always feel like you can interact with your coach. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best. Take care.